everybody. Welcome to Alvarado, Texas, the greatest arena in the world, Diamond W Arena. We're going to bring you something a little bit different this time for winning tips. You're going to see several different editions. This is my clinic. We have 7 participants and 2 onlookers to ask questions, to work their horses, to do all kinds of things. We're going to go through bit soreness. We're going to go through different kinds of problems. You've asked for it, so here it is. Okay, first of all, I'm going to ride my horse up here. Oh, Sundance, he didn't want to participate to do this, does he? Okay, I'm going to kind of get right here, and don't worry about it. They all do that. That's why I have the brokest one in the world right there that the gorilla can do. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to introduce myself just a little bit so you kind of know a little bit about me. Charlotte Cunningham, of course. I grew up in New Mexico, and I moved to Graham, Texas, went to high school there, graduated high school, went to college at Midwestern State University. Believe it or not, I do have a degree. It's in finance. What am I doing on horses? Well, I've done it all my life. It's about all I know, and I don't want to work as a bank president or a bank teller or a bank anything, loaner. And I worked as an accountant for 6 years, and I hated every minute of it, so I decided that I'd be better suited in the world and happier as a horse trainer. So here I am once again training for the public. Some of my credentials, not to pat myself on the back or anything like that, most of my credentials have been from training futurity horses, starting them, training them, winning off of them in the major futurities. I've won Oklahoma City. I trained horses like Orange Smash, Horse Looker Man that won the Timed Event Challenge. I've trained horses that won Josie Junior World, Cash Dasher 2, and then we've trained famous Better Be Me. Of course, we've used him a lot in the program because he's one of the newest horses that have won a bunch, and I pretty much won or placed in every major futurity, every major derby, most 4Ds, D&Gs. The only thing we haven't really kind of gotten to is to rodeos, and that's the thing we're getting into this year. We finally purchased Azagata Hemi. He came back off of his colic surgery, and now he's getting ready to go be a rodeo horse. So we're going into the rodeos now, because that's the last thing that is not on my resume. So for all y'all people out there, I'm going to try to make the NFR, which if it happens, that's good. If I can win one rodeo, it'd be better. All right. Now I'm going to go through just a little bit of my philosophy on running barrels, where we were, how we got here, and where we're going. Okay. I'm going to say early 50s to about 60s, 1950, not 1850. And the subscribers that are older, I've learned not to say you're old because that's bad, because I'm thinking I might be old. Anyway, when you got older, the lot of the people who have trained horses, and let's see if I can go down here, and if you can't hear me, which y'all can kind of gather around and follow me, come on down this way. Everybody come down this way. That way you can see. We're going to use this barrel as an example here of where we were. About 50s to about 1970s. Of course, I was born in 75, so I don't remember seeing anybody run barrels. But most of the barrel racing was done where they sent a horse up here and they rolled him back off his hip like this and came around. So we basically, and most of those horses were straight cow-bred horses. They were brought right off the ranch, and they were basically trained that way. They were trained to do this and spin around and look pretty, be cutters, because they were all around using horses, and that's the only thing that the women had. Okay, you get into about early 80s and they start the BFA. And the reason why I know is because my parents were one of the people besides Pat Hutter, Florence and Dale Urey, James Warner, his parents, and there's a few other, the Loomises were there. Then they started the first futurity in Springdale, Arkansas. And they were at that point where they'd run up there and come around. Well, you had some people come in, and I'm not going to name names who it was, and they started outrunning them. And so they started this little trend, which was the flexibility of a horse. And they started getting a horse really driving around a barrel, being real flexible and giving his nose around a barrel, but they were going way out here and they were really practicing on giving a lot of pocket, what they call pocket, which is, I'm using this as an example of the first barrel, a lot of pocket like this. This is about, I'd say 80s, mid-90s right here. Well then, and they don't like us to call them Easterners, I found. They're in the Midwest. Troy Crumrine, Talmadge Green was one of the first ones, and I get to use their names. I found out that that was the Midwest in Indiana. That was not East Coast, and I was informed, quite frankly, quickly, that they didn't like being called East Coasters. Okay, we've had some men and women, we had both come in, and I remember this because I got outrun by them. You'd see them come up here really close to the barrel, get their nose, and I mean drive that horse off of the barrel, and I mean use their inside, their back end, like I've never seen a horse use. And I mean, bam, we're getting 2D'd, which then we didn't know what D's were at the time because it was a straight barrel race. But these guys would come in and you would think, oh my gosh, they're so close. And then all of a sudden they would get their nose and come around and you're like, wow, how did they turn like that? And that's where barrel racing has come to. It's come from being real stiff on a horse to being really bendy to using both. Okay, so it's come basically full circle. Now here's my training philosophy, and understand this. My training philosophy is not the perfect training philosophy. And also understand this, that each every individual horse that's sitting here today is a different horse from this one to the next one. They're not all the same. So if I tell Cassidy over here about this horse something, it not necessarily applies to each one of you. A general rule applies to a generality, but you might need to do something different on each and every one of your horses to cater to their personality. A good rider, a good trainer knows that a horse is an individual. You start them all the same, you go the same, but then you let them kind of develop in their own aspect. Now, people go wrong right here in that they do this. They go, let them become an individual. I didn't say let them just do whatever the hell they wanted, okay? That's not what I said, and I use hell because the truth is, a lot of people think, oh baby, you did so good, you're running off down through the alleyway and I can't stop you. And you know, and we've all done it. We've all gone, oh, he's doing so good, and when they're winning, it's wonderful, but when they quit winning and that little thing that they're doing, whatever it may be, they're getting up on their hind end and running back to the whoever or running down the alleyway and taking off. It's not very pretty when they stop winning. I know, because I have a dash to fame that is a pain in the rear end. Okay, so that's where I feel like we've been and where we're going. You have to forgive me because I get off track a little bit. Okay, now my training philosophy is very simple. There's 4 points around a barrel. There's point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. If you remember that, it's just simple. Okay, so let's all go home. No, I'm kidding. It really is. Okay, and we'll show you with the cones here. Point 1 is to come up to this first barrel like this, and I'm just going to go over this quickly because we're going to hit this every time on every single horse. This is right where the tracks cross over, okay? Point 2 is going to be right here at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you were to draw a cross on this barrel, that's all 4 points right there, okay? Point 3 is at noon, and point 4 is at 3 o'clock. Sorry, I don't know my clock. Hang on, let me look at my clock here. Hang on. Y'all can go ahead and laugh. It's okay, we can have a good time. Okay, that's the basic philosophy. Okay, if you remember 4 points and hit those points with your horses, I'll show you exactly where to hit them, how to hit them, and how to get there. What to look at and how to go, but we're gonna get to that. I'm going to tell you my philosophy as far as thinking when you go to barrel races, thinking when you're riding your horse. My philosophy when I go out every day, and Kim, you don't tell on me because I'm going to tell on myself. Kim works for me. So my philosophy when you go out on a horse every day, is to make a little progress with them, but do it in a positive manner. If you can get this much with a horse, it doesn't matter if it's a 4-year-old or a 6-year-old, stop and go to the barn. People make the worst mistakes I've ever seen on horses, especially young horses, younger horses. They keep going, well, I got a little bit, let's keep going, let's keep going. They don't stop and go to the barn. All these animals know is pressure and release. That's all they know. They don't know anything else. They don't know monetary needs. They know maybe this is good, but they don't know that that's what they did to be right. And if you're sending mixed signals to your horse, like say you work him one way at home and you run him a totally different way at the barrel race and you don't even know you're doing it. And you're like, he doesn't know. He doesn't know if I'm supposed to do this one way or this the other way. And I see 90% of the people that come to me for help, that's their problem. It's positioning, it's consistency, and it's communication with their horse. There's 3 things that I've seen every time someone has helped me. It doesn't matter what age the horse is, it doesn't matter how old or young the person is, that's what's happened. And it doesn't mean that you've done something wrong, it's just you didn't know. You got to know how to speak their language. Not your language, their language. And we do it in a positive way, and if we can get that close, if they do it once for me, I'm going to the barn. I want them to know the fastest way to that barn is to do it right. Whether it's 5 minutes or it's 20 or it's an hour, or we got to go to the walker and go back to the walker and go back again. Okay, now I know we're all working folks here. We don't have time to do that. But you can do it in days. You can do it every day. Get a little bit, quit them. Go back the next day, ask them for more, get a little bit, quit them. Okay? And I'm assuming that every one of you's here because you want help for a certain reason. Now, they go, the other thing that I hear when people come to me, it's me. Charlotte, I know it's me. I swear I don't know how many times I've heard that. Raise your hand if you're here because you think it's you. See, looky there. Looky there. Almost all of them, almost every one of them raised their hand. Okay? It's not always you. You're the rider, yes, you're the controller, you're the driver, but you have a 1,200-pound animal sitting in between your legs. They have a different thinking about how they do things, okay? They have a different philosophy on life. It's let's go to the trailer, we eat our hay, drink. I don't care if we run around 3 trash cans. They're not bred to do this. This is not something they're bred to do. We got to teach them this sort of thing. They're not bred to run around 3 trash cans, and no telling what they think we're thinking about running around 3 trash cans. So, you know, we have to speak their language and say, this is what I want you to do. And also understand this, that not every horse is going to make a barrel horse. Not every horse, and I hate to say this, but the downside of this is this. Not every horse will make a barrel horse. It has to depend on what you're happy with. That's what I tell people. It has to depend on what you're happy with and what you are willing to accept. Okay, now I know we all want a 1D horse. Okay, we all want that horse. Now don't tell me if you're sitting here you're lying, because I'll call you a liar if you say you don't want that horse. But are you that kind of rider that can ride that horse just yet? I mean, I'm not saying that you don't have the potential. Everybody has the potential to do everything that they want to do if they set their mind to it. But are you at that potential? Is your horse at that potential? Does he have that athletic ability? Those are things, realistic goals that you need to think about realistically. And you know what I do? If mine aren't making, they go packing because this is my business. And I see people go, well, you know, I have a whole bunch invested in him. Get rid of him. If he's making you mad, if he's insulting you, and we've done everything we could, get rid of him. Okay, so there's my negative part of the clinic. The rest of it's going to be very positive. Everything I say will be very positive. I'll tell you, hey, let's do it this way. Hey, let's do it that way. I am not one of those riders and one of those professionals, one of those trainers, helpers, coaches to tell you, hey, you're being stupid. Stop being stupid. I hate that. And I see it a lot with parents and kids, and I'm going to say this to parents. Be very cautious on how you help your children run barrels or compete, because you are laying a foundation on how they're going to compete for the rest of their life. And winning is not everything. And yelling and screaming at them because it's something that they did wrong and it really wasn't, it was the horse's fault, or it could be, then you need to stop. Let someone else help them. Okay, so there's that. There are 2 books that I always recommend to everyone for mind control, and if anybody's had an anxiety attack going to a barrel race, because I know I have. I'll raise my hand. Go ahead and raise your hand. Who's had an anxiety attack going to a barrel race? There's been many times I've wanted to veer off to the beer store or the liquor store or somewhere store, okay? Because I knew in the trailer behind me was a wreck fixing to happen, okay? There are 2 books. One of them, my husband, who was a trap shooter, Nick Cunningham, told me about, because it helps you visualize your run and helps you relax in order to get the best out of your horse and to get to that point and train your mind in slow work to get to the point to run and do it the same. It's called The Inner Game of Tennis. You don't play tennis, it doesn't matter. It's not really about tennis. They've got one called The Inner Game of Golf. If you like golf better, which I don't, that's like watch cement dry to me. So I read the tennis one. It's a very good book. I suggest everyone read it. There's also another one that my horseshoer, Ryle Smith, he's from Oakdale, California, told me about, the world champion bull rider, Ted Noose. And he said you would never be unhappy around Ted Noose because he wouldn't let you. If anybody ever seen Ted Noose, I thought he was the hottest thing that ever walked the face of the earth when he was a bull rider. He told him about a book called Mind Gym. Mind Gym, G-Y-M. And it's even better because you'll find out that your anxiety, you're not alone. Now, if you're like me, and we'll get to the barrel racing here in a minute, just stay with me, just stay with me. I know talking is boring. I know sitting here talking about it. If you're like me, I think I'm the only one in the crowd. I go into barrel race and I swear to y'all, before I read this book, and I have to confess 2 things. One, well, the other thing I'll get to here in just a minute. The first thing is I confess that I'd be sitting there and be ready for my run, all of a sudden I'd go, oh, this ain't gonna work. This is going to crap in a heartbeat. You know? The book addresses that. I thought I was psychic. I thought I could tell what's going to happen. Seriously, I swear to God, I thought that, okay? This book addresses anxiety and how to channel anxiety in your run, in your competition, to get the best out of yourself and what you're supposed to do. The Inner Game of Tennis helps you visualize, it helps you go from the practice pen to the work pen to the running pen, and the Mind Gym tells you how to control all your emotions. And it's a very good book to read. I suggest, if you have time, Mind Gym. I even got told at the Weatherford Pro Rodeo that I was the savior because I said that to someone about reading the Mind Gym, because the horse bucked the lady off, and she said I read that, and it just brought my confidence way up. Okay, now we're going to get to work. I think. I gotta look at my notes here before we get to work. We had a couple of people come in here. Oh, one more thing. If I ask you a question about your equipment, or if I say something and call you out, please don't find that as offensive. Don't get your feelings hurt. Don't say, well, you know, she's calling me out because I asked you about why your bid is like that or anything like that. I just want to know what your philosophy on that is, okay? So we'll get started on, here's what I want you to do. We're going to line up like your order is. Do y'all have to go? Okay, we're going to line up as your order is, and you don't have to use the alleyway. If you'd like to, that'd be fine. And I want each of you to go as fast as you normally go with your horse. And then we'll all go, and I'm not going to say nothing because we talked about this before. We're just going to go through each one of you. I want to see each one of you go. And then we'll go back through the opposite direction from last to forward, and I'll help you each individual, okay? So let's go over here, and if y'all feel like you want to use the alleyway, that's fine. Or if you feel like you need to trot your horses around, that's fine. Y'all just tell me what you want to do because this is y'all's time. I'm just here. Okay. First one would be Lisa McCool. She lives here in Alvarado. Of course, she owns this arena, and oh no, we can't shut the camera off. This is Big Mama. Big Mama has a motor. Wonder how old Big Mama is. Very good. Very good. Okay, you can come over here or wherever you want to sit. Okay. Oh, and I said you don't have to run them home either. You don't have to waste excess energy. You don't have to waste excess energy by running them home. Okay, we're ready for you. This is Lisa Downs, number 2. She's riding Feather here. Feather's obviously a very nice horse, wants to work. Very good. Okay. Very nice. Okay, number 3 would be Cassidy Rab. She's riding Jessie. Of course, I know this horse because I kind of helped her find him, so I have to. And she's a very young mare. This is a 3-year-old mare, so she goes a little slower than most, but that's okay. That's what we're all here for. Young, old, whatever. She was started and trained by Terry Ford out of Weatherford, Texas. Terry has some amazing horses. If you want to find a really nice stud, she owns Stole My Heart, among other very nice mares. Okay. Number 4 is Debbie Rab. She's out of, where do you live at? What? Where do you live at? Llano. Yeah, that's right. This is Sundance. And Sundance, he's come to my house too, so. And there are horses in here that I've never seen go before. So this horse, I've seen him go a couple of times, and he stayed at my house for a couple weeks. He's a nice horse, own son of Bully Bullion. Very nice. Okay, number 5 be Melanie Self. She lives at Gordon, Texas. This is Old Man's Aloha. Aloha, I think, is about 6. And she's just getting really good and started with him. We're just getting a good run through here so I can kind of get a good feel of some horses. Very good. Very good. Okay, number 6, Melanie Albright. Marlin, Texas. Disco Special Bud. And Melanie, I've met her through barrel races, but I don't think she hasn't been to my house. She's asked me some questions along the way, but we've never been around the house. So this is a student that I've never seen before. So, and obviously we have the little horse really wants to work barrels. That was. Oh no, we'll let our worker over here. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. It's good. That was very good. It's okay. He wanted to be a part of winning runs, so we're letting him. Bob, film Nick setting up the barrels. Nick, wave at the crowd, wave at the camera. Nick want to be involved, and okay, we have one more to go. Okay, number 7, this is Kim Devenins. Kim lives there in Stephenville, and this is Ghost, and she just purchased him. And she works for me, so